Actually, we are discussing something here on how to challenge the challenge, I guess. Let's start from there. Because we are facing critical challenge of skilling. And in entire 2 days, we have discussed something that is associated with skilling in one way or the other. Even in technology or battery or charging or whatever you talk about in EV industry ecosystem, we seriously, all these things are somewhere associated with skilling. So, we have Mr. Ramadhas. Both our panelists are from research and technology side. And we did have someone who was very much into the industry side, but he's stuck somewhere in airport due to his connecting flight. So let me start with you, sir. Ramdas, sir. Industry is growing, and industry is growing at its own pace. The pace might be yours different, mine different, but it's growing. The question is the talent pool growing in that speed? Do you see a talent pool growing in the similar speed?
Industry is not growing at one phase. It is growing at a very faster rate. We can say we initially started with the assembly of the component, and now we are starting manufacturing the components. For the government is supporting the terms of auto PLA schemes, PMA schemes. So domestic manufacturing is doing a lot. So industry is fast rate, and the vision of 30% EV by 2030 is growing. Next is concern is whether skill development or skilled manpower is available or not, or how it working. I can see the partially. It is not fully matured. So, but we are in the right direction of moving to improve the skills. Why it happens? The reason being, particularly India or any of the automotives, mainly depends upon internal combustion engine only. If you go to any of the universities and teach the mechanical engineering and automobile engineering courses are there, not specifically for the electrical engineering. Very recently, few years only, we can see the specific for the electrical vehicle technology. Some universities having. Even the not central government universities, they are not offering. Mostly in terms of deemed universities, they can easily change the course curriculum. That is possible.
Okay.
But instead of government university, they need to 3 to 5 years, 10 years, only they can able to change the course curriculum. So there it is lacking. So once they come out from the college, they need to get additional, they have to learn it. They have to do it.
Okay, so I'll come on this one later part. I would like to know from audience who is into the business of EV. Can you please raise your hand so I could understand from your problem? Actually, because they are all from technology side and they are from research side. So I want to know from your perspective whether do you have any issue with recruitment in your company? What kind of issues do you face? Can someone raise? First, introduce yourself, just a line. What's your name and what you do, what your company does. And then I would like to understand from you whether what kind of challenge in talent pool you're facing in recruiting.
Hi, so my name is Subhashni and I head learning and development for Switch Mobility. So I am here exclusively for this conversation to understand how our strategies for learning can be enhanced using your insights. And we have been talking to Kar already. So I'm in conversation with Mr. Thiru. So I am very curious to understand, given the challenge that you already mentioned, that it's not part of the university curriculum at this point and it needs additional upskilling. There's a lot that the organizations need to do to bridge this gap. So the strategies required for that, and what are the focus areas that we should be concentrating on?
Thank you. So in the morning, I was discussing our friend from Bandhan Bank, and yes, so in fact, we were discussing something, and that was it that we are in some kind of confusion whether if we skill someone in my company, and he leaves. And if I don't skill someone in my company and he stays, so, hello? Okay, okay. Is it better now? So we are in a situation where we say that what if we skill our workforce and they leave? And what if we don't skill and they stay? Is it a problem you understand, sir, Anand, sir? Can you address it? And the question?
Okay, I think it's a very, this is not something which is very specific to EV, but more of a probably what L&D faces most often of whether to skill and to what extent you skill and how aggressive you should skill and things like that, because you have to balance it out with the problem of people leaving also. Now, one thing is if the people are going to leave, it's not about because they have the skill, they have developed the skill and they can use the skill elsewhere. People are going to leave for various other reasons.
Correct.
Now, if you are going to not skill your people, your company is actually going to fall back. So the not skilling is not an option at all. And if you think that, okay, if I skill and I'm then going to leave the thing, that's actually more for the HR to handle that situation on what is demotivating them or what is it that it is actually, why is it that they are leaving? So it's an entirely different discussion. Actually, I can have an argument on that for a whole day on that. In fact, I have written some posts also on LinkedIn in this regard.
That's
quite
why
a bit.
this question you pointed to you, sir. Yeah.
So basically, it's actually more to do with the culture and how you treat people, how you actually make them feel part of the organization. All these things go into retaining people there. It's not about just the skilling part. If you're skilling them, that itself means that you're actually trusting your people to stay. So I think that's something that HR should be handling. But as far as skilling is concerned, just to, maybe I would like to add a little bit of things on what Dr. Ramadhas was talking about, also in line with what ma'am raised. So basically, this is not just about EV. Any new technology that comes, particularly when we are going through the kind of revolution the automotive industry is seeing now, there is a natural phenomena that the technology moves faster and industry is starting to adopt certain technologies which is faster than what the academia can actually offer. So industry is forced to look at skilling mechanisms which are different from purely the academic world, like what we have been used to. Like sir said about mechanical, still colleges still rely on IC engine. You cannot say that I will not do IC engine in the curriculum. But how can we make it dynamically kind of change? We cannot obviously change the curriculum dynamically. We have to stick to certain curriculums. It can be changed only in a period of say every 3 years or 4 years or whatever it is. And government institutions probably take even longer. So there is this gap that exists. It will always exist whenever the technology is changing, whenever we see this kind of a revolution happening in the industry. So that is where actually organizations rely on some, like for example, we step in and where we actually try to fill this gap by trying to do this, whatever required, whatever skills are required, how can we bring some of the latest developments that are happening in the institutes like IIT Madras into the industry so that we get the faculty from IIT or we ourselves, we are all basically from industry background. We have been in the industry for several decades. So how we can actually now bring that knowledge to the industry so that the industry can move faster in adopting this knowledge.
Thank you. Ram sir, I would like to know from you that as we're discussing something on industry, academia gap and all, but I can see there are so many people in EV industry and many other industries also, especially I see in EV industry, that they are small companies. And this is a bigger challenge in smaller companies. they have to have kind of skilled people, and they don't have that much fund to fund their skilling program. Am I right? Okay. So, what kind of, challenges do you see in front of MSMEs in either in EV or other industries also, and how they should overcome this? What they should do from your point of view?
Like any other industry, if there is new industries that are coming up, many big OEMs, they have sufficient funds for the R&D or training program they allotted some funds. But in the case of MSME is the backbone of the any of the industry. Okay, if the OEMs are manufacturing any of the big vehicle, the MSMEs has to make the components and everything. But the MSME they don't have sufficient funds, so they can't too much offered for the training or R&D. R&D they would set up a lot of facility, test labs, everything required. That is not possible. Even every small MSMEs, suppose for example two-wheeler industry, EV, they can't everyone get the them battery development technologies laboratory, they can't offer. It comes around or about 50 to 60 crores is required for the battery testing. And to develop their own manpower for the skill set development, it is impossible at all. The one way is overcome is government should or many of the industries join together, they can make a cluster type. So all some of the big OEMs and MSMEs, they set up the summer laboratory mainly for the training purpose. So anyone can come up with the MSME tech or individual, come up, get the training, and they go to their own industry. They can do better way. They can do it. Rather than textbook subject they're reading in the online, they come to the laboratory. They could physically see the how the battery works or BMSOs, how the calibration done, everything they can see it. So it will help to the MSMEs. That is one challenge they are facing. That can be sorted out by this thing. Setting up this type of laboratory can be done actually.
Okay, so Anand sir, this question is specifically with you. You are in research side and you advise on research part. The point is that there are advancements in IC also, and there are very fast advancements in EV also. But I think there's a thing of mindset change in case of EV. It's not only technological advancement, it's about mindset advancement. So do you think, do you see industry ready to change with that mindset of investment and all in EV industry? Do you see that happening?
Yeah, I think this was probably something which the previous speaker, Professor Junjunwala, actually addressed
Yes.
quite a bit on that.
That's why I wanted to know
Yeah,
from you also.
it's definitely a significant mindset change is required, no doubt about it. And I think it is already happening. A very significant focus is actually, there is a very significant shift on from the OEMs, from the industry on realizing that, okay, EV is the next way to go. And I don't see that actually as any kind of stumbling block as that. In fact, as going back to ma'am's thing, switch mobility is actually been created. I mean, Ashok Leyland really took the first
Right.
step because they realized that, okay, EV is actually coming up very quickly, and they moved in very quickly there. And so basically, technology adoption is not an issue in India. I don't see that as an issue. Industries are ready to adopt when they see a new technology. But there are other things which I would probably make it more like looking always westwards and seeing that what is the technology there and now we will adopt it here. Can we do something where, as Professor mentioned, how we start looking at our own technology and building our own technology and using those technologies. I think that is something where we are very eager to.
Okay, so let me ask it other way around. From you itself. What according to you, 2, 3 key things that smaller companies and companies even like Switch or Ashok Leyland should do to have good talent pool in EV sector? What 2, 3 key things that they should do to have good talent pool in EV sector?
Okay. So I think one of the things is going back to that question on MSME, probably I'll relate it to that. Some of these I mean, almost all OEMs, or why should I say almost? All OEMs
All, yeah.
are dependent on MSMEs. Okay, several parts or several components that is going into the manufacturing of the vehicle comes from these MSMEs. It could be as simple as small rods, or it could be certain components which are actually more, I mean, productified kind of stuffs also. So the OEMs today rely more on actually the MSMEs providing the components, and the MSMEs have to fend for themselves to ensure that they are keeping up with what the OEMs need. So it is not, suppose the MSME is not able to provide them that, they will say, okay, I'll look elsewhere. Now,
Yes.
how can we shift from that kind of a thing to cooperating and co-working with the MSMEs and ensuring that as they grow and as they start moving towards new technologies, work with the same MSME who has been their provider to also kind of ramp them up on the new technologies. So that is something that should be a very critical focus. So as I am now looking at a technology, it should not be that let me do all the things first and then I will start teaching, because I always have the fear of somebody is going to take that thing from me. So that kind of a thing, as we should start looking at more coming together as a team, more of a consortium approach everything as a consortium. It could be a vertical consortium in this case, because the MSMEs are all at the bottom part of your vertical consortium. So bring them also as your partners and start, when you are ramping up on a new technology, make sure that they are also getting that early look into it. So some of these things could help the situation better, is what I feel.
Ram sir, this one another thing that is very important. That in case of technology, meanwhile, I would like to see this session is very much open to all of you. I am moderating on your behalf. So if any one of you have any of the questions that you think I might have missed to raise with these two brilliant minds, please raise your hands anytime. You all open, okay to do that. So, Ramso, see, there's one important thing that I personally feel that in technology, every technology changes in every 6 months, I guess, or there's some kind of advancements. I don't know how much of you must have seen, but I have seen a device called pager. How much of you have seen that pager? Can you remember? Okay. So I think in technology, that's a perfect example of how things go almost rotten in 6 months. Okay. So I guess pager had a lifetime of 1.5 years or 2 years. Okay. So in every technology, most of technologies, there's an advancement in 6 months or 8 months. So in this kind of changing technology scenario, how does a company keep pace with upskilling and reskilling? And what kind of academia industry association you feel is needed to fill that gap?
It is very challenging only. We are technology changing at a very fast rate. Even the battery technologies earlier with lead acid battery used for the tricycles. Now it is moved to the lithium battery, other things. So now metal air battery is coming up. So battery, particularly the battery concept, battery cell chemistry changing very fast. Different types of chemistry are available. And correspondingly, we need to go about the battery management, other things, everything. More particularly for the EV industry, they're not only talking about only about the performance in terms of the power or many things. They're talking about the infotainment like that also. They are adding the GPS and any software to be updated. Their OTA platform is there, and they are using everything. They are using it. What are the IT related technologies? They are implementing in the all the EV segment. So if you learn today's some point of some technologies, maybe it go for absolute maybe another 6 months or 1 year time. So for that a regular updation is required. So further how it happens, so industry they understand that. So this technology coming up, so they and jointly collaborate with the academic and as well as the test agencies. We are finally test agents going to test and prove the validity of the products. So they have to make the joint workshops or some small short-term programs, maybe for 3 days, 4 days programs. So cover the total content, what is to be used. So that will support them some basic skill set is required for the further implementation of the skill development. That can be done one way. Otherwise, some regular programs, all the, like I said, cluster-based training programs, they also develop the programs so that new technology, whatever that comes, to be spread out to all the audience. Those who are the industry people, they should be aware of it. So then only development will take place so that we can move ahead at a par with world industries.
So you're doing that, sir, and also I can see that most of the technology institutions like IITs and other institutions are doing that. But somewhere I see that in between the colleges and other institutes below that, they are not very much prone to that kind of changes. So where's the real issue? That they are not very much open to change.
So mainly
The courses they don't see. I can see almost hundreds of crash courses and all. But my point is how much that helps, and are institutions open to that kind of short courses for skilling, reskilling, upskilling? Yeah.
There are two types of setups are there. One for the industrial participant, particularly IITs, all other test agencies like GRC, ARA. We are organizing the programs, particularly for the EV provisionally implement programs. For 3 days program we are organizing, even ARA, and I can also organize it. This will support many things. People are joining, people are from industries. Academic institution, they're not coming to the forward to the join. Maybe awareness may be issue. But in the case of the institutes, they also offering the courses, 1 week faculty development programs. They also nowadays cover with the many alternative fields programs and EV. They're organizing. This way it can be improved actually. And particularly next level is, third level is colleges. Tier 2 college, Tier 3 colleges, they have the limited opportunity to access this. Something awareness to be created in the government point of view, or by the course curriculum, some internship or some mandate internship, maybe 15 days to be implemented in the curriculum. So that will give the boost to the young coming engineers to understand the things.
Anand sir, your take on that?
So basically, this kind of a transition that happens, it doesn't happen in all technologies, in all industries simultaneously. If you pick the example, you pointed out the example of pager.
Pager, yeah.
Now, that is actually a huge revolution that has happened in the communications industry. And I was very, very fortunate to be part of the communications industry throughout this transition period. Okay, I was part of communications industry from 95 to 2020. Okay, so this is the period when actually the actual transition happened.
Yes.
And now if you see, are we actually progressing or changing, are things changing in communications as it happened in this period?
Yes.
It probably we are now reaching a point that, okay, communications is not basically there are so many other things now as a consequence of communication, certain other things are now coming into the picture. Like for example, when we are talking about EV and the changes in the automotive, SDV has become a huge hit because of communications.
Correct.
Now communications, how do you exploit communication? So now we have moved into a stage where communication technology is taken for granted, but we are now looking at how we are now going to exploit it. Now, so basically, whenever these changes happen, it is imperative that, we will not be able to rely on the academia alone to keep providing this. So whenever the changes happen, we need to quickly, the industry is the one which very quickly adopts the changes because they are looking at the market and they know what's coming up, and very quickly they adopt the change, and that has to get percolated to the next level. How we are able to build labs or whatever to help the MSMEs. As he said, for the test, how the test setup can be enhanced so that they can actually leverage that. So in fact, we are actually trying to also set up labs in our facility. Like CAR is actually helping, trying to set up these kind of labs where MSMEs can come and use these equipments and try to build their skills level. And one other thing which I wish to point out is skills building is not about just delivering certain courses or having them go through certain workshop, giving them a theoretical thing about what are all the various things that's happening. How can they get their hands dirty and start becoming comfortable with that technology? That is what is more important. I think that is something where we probably can do a lot more. We are actually lagging a little bit there. And that is where the industry tends to get frustrated with the quality of skilling or the quality of graduates that come in, because they don't see them ready for putting them on the floor as soon as they come in. So I think these are things we probably need to really work on from a skillings
Thank
perspective.
you. Thank you. In fact, I am done with it. Anyone, any question from the audience? Yeah, okay. Okay, let me come to you. Please introduce yourself and your company and keep your question focused.
Hi, sir. This is Vinod here. I have one small question which is related to chips, that is called semiconductor chips, where in terms of vehicles, you need a small chips to identify the sensors and control of electronics and powers, and which translates from battery to communication channel. So there they need a small chip. So how you guys are actually training or upskilling in terms of people of semiconductors?
Who your question is pointed to? You want to ask me Anand sir or Ram sir? Anand sir, it's question towards you.
Yeah, so I didn't get you. So basically you're talking about chip manufacturing. How do we skill the people?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's a great question. I mean, this is something which has been bothering me also, not because of, generally, as I said, we are doing a skilling and all those things. But when it comes to semiconductors, there is a lot of gap that is there. Semiconductors is a technology, or it is a skill which is actually not, you cannot reskill some people into bringing up learning the semiconductors and making them into it. Semiconductors has more of a technology which requires them to get skilled from the fundamentals, and it requires a lot more investment in that. And are we doing enough about it? It's an yes and a no. The reason is that though there is a lot of hype about the semiconductor industry in India and all those things, we are yet to see that kind of that boom or something, that semiconductors, that we can say that, okay, this is going to happen and we really need those kind of skills to happen, and we need to be investing a lot in this. A lot of people are talking about it. I will not say the same thing about the automotive changes that's happening in the EV industry or the thing. There, the changes are happening and they do need the skills. Semiconductors is still something which is more of waiting and watching. One. Number two, it is waiting and watching because of the kind of investments that are required for a semiconductor industry. Are we ready to make those kind of investments? Recently, you might have seen Zoho's founder, he actually has pulled out of the semiconductor industry. So there are some challenges that are there. I think that is the reason why probably we are not seeing the skilling happening at that pace. Okay, once that doubts gets cleared, things will change. So you have...
I am R.S. Mani, process consultant. This question is for both of you. Being the technology expert, even though this is an EV forum, I want to understand, is there any other new technology upcoming which will be better for adoption? Is there any other technology which is upcoming in mobility?
In mobility, now EV is, we are talking about EV. But other than EV, generically we are talking about automotive upgrades. Mostly we are talking about the SDV and ADAS technologies. So now L1, L2, now we are in the L2. So all the OEMs or component manufacturer like Bosch or everyone, they are working, or Continental, working on developing the components or sensors for the ADAS technology improvement. So that will be one of the very fast adaptation in the industry. It is growing up actually.
I mean the basic technology itself, like hydrogen fueled vehicle, like that. Is there any new technology upcoming?
Hydrogen fuel cells. Hydrogen government by hydrogen economy. Government is supporting for the conversion from the IC engine with the hydrogen fuel. It is working on. Government is supporting a lot. But mostly in the heavy commercial vehicle segment, it is developing a lot actually as compared to the passenger car segment.
So from your side?
See, basically, if I were to say some technology, I will go down to more to the problem level. What are the problems that we try to address, which is helping us evolve new technologies? As Professor Junjunwala said, IC engines are extremely inefficient. Any mechanical engineer will know that Carnot cycle is actually the one which puts the limit on it. You cannot do anything better than that. So you have to go and look at something else. And now EV takes us the efficiency to, he said 90%, but there are at least established lab results where you can achieve 95, 97% efficiency. All those things are possible. So getting efficiency is one problem that which we can say that can change or enable new technology. The other thing is about quickness or making it life simpler or easier or life more safer. Now, if we look at some of these things, one, IIT has been involved actively in Hyperloop. You might have all heard of it. I see that as actually a very promising technology for probably maybe 10 years from today or 20 years from today, which will replace all kind of automotives. Just imagine, and Professor also showed about how we can actually, how they are working on vehicles, on tracks and things like that. Tomorrow, those vehicles are going to be replaced by Hyperloop. Why do I say Hyperloop? It is going to be extremely energy efficient, right? Okay, and it is going to be very safe. And when we combine all these things, and you are going to be able to transport at a very, very rapid speeds, which will help mankind in several ways. So that kind of a technology probably will be the path where we will eventually go to. That is my personal opinion.
So one last question from you. Yeah. One last question from you. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, we are from Kerala, me and Bashir sir.
Okay.
Basically, I am from Evox Energy. We started newly one company in Kerala, charging station and solar related renewable energy area. So I need to start academy for EV area, EV related area, charging and technology area. Okay. So I need to start with 10th onwards of in Kerala student. So you suggest me or refer me which institute I need to research or which are the material I need to refer.
Okay. So actually, what I have understood that the sir runs has started some institute of EV, right? You're running academy of.
So I understand that you want to start an academy for EV, which EV and charging and related areas.
Okay.
So you want to know which institute will help you build that academy and what kind of material you have to. Is that the right?
Right.
I got it. Well, very frankly, it's not an easy answer. There are several institutions which are working in these areas. And there are institutions, in fact, there are certain experts available in certain institutions like his thing, where you probably need to create a mechanism by which you are able to bring in these experts from different institutions. Okay. And I don't want to be seen as promoting any institution, though I have a background from IIT and IISc, but I don't want to say that, okay, come to my institution in any way. Basically, you have to look at where you will find the needed expertise and who is willing to work with you and approach those institutions as individuals. You can't generally categorize certain institutions. That's my take on it. Sir, you want to?
See, what Professor told, it is right. Many of the OEMs are manufacturing their charging systems. So you can, one way you can approach them. They will tell the newer technologies, how the servicing or the technician point is, all the related material they can support you. You have to find out one by one only. And like academic institution, they get some strict codes and basic fundamental about the charging, how it works like that only.
So with this, I would like to wrap up this session.